રોકડ પાછું ઓલ ટેપ થાય છે. Okay, so this is kind of a new setup for us, but what we are doing is from this Friday onwards, we are going to do the session live on YouTube, just so that we can increase the community size, and people who are not part of the organization, they can also join in if they have inputs to share, and we can also keep tabs of our lessons so when they are uploaded on YouTube. Okay. Anyways, so the today's topic is personal finance basics. So a couple of weeks ago we had one of the LIC insurance agents who was explaining you about finance and why you should save, why you should invest, and why you should do all those kind of things to secure your future. Okay. So तो आज हम बात करने वाले हैं. So the language is going to be both Hindi English combined. When we are going to learn about the personal finance basics. Okay, so introduction to personal finance. The reason why we are choosing this topic, especially for you guys, is you are at the start of your career. So at the start of the career, if you know about these things, that okay, what is asset, what is a liability, what is income, what is expense, what is net worth, what are the things that you need to take care of in terms of finance, personal finance, so that you have a safe and secured life, so that you don't get in a kind of a situation where in a financial trouble. Okay, so to avoid that, we need to learn about finance. So that is why we are doing this. The real intention was to do this before we called her, but anyways, we are doing it right now so that you understand it. Okay, what is personal finance? Managing your money effectively to achieve financial goals, which includes earning, saving, spending, and investing. So these are the four aspects of personal finance. You do all four things, which constitutes your personal finance, which is in earning. Of course, you are doing it right now. You are working here, you are earning a salary. Saving is like from your income you take a part and save it on the side. Spending, that you don't need to take Nakul. Udhar. Okay, it's not udhar, it's कर्ज. So there is a difference between udhar and कर्ज. Udhar is like I have given money to somebody. कर्ज is I am under the debt of somebody. Means I have taken money from someone and I'm yet to return it. This can be either from a bank or from a individual or from a non-banking financial institution. Okay, and if you plan your personal finance properly, it helps you prepare for future expenses and emergencies. So right now, because you are young and you don't have any financial emergencies or financial liabilities as such, then you might be thinking that okay, why I need to invest, why I need to save, my expenses are taken care of, because right now your parents are taking care of many of your expenses. But when you grow in your life and you have your own family, that is the moment where you'll need all this kind of lessons. Okay, so there are four terms that you need to burn in your head: income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. These are very basic personal finance terms, but you need to understand all four of them. Okay, let's go one by one. Income. So income is the money that you earn. Now income is not just salary, so it is all those things: salary, allowances, business revenue. So whatever you are doing, whatever the inflow of money is coming into you, that is all counted as income. Expenses, money that you spend, so whatever you spend on, so it is not just on some one part of it, but that is rent, groceries, entertainment, all of this constitutes your expenses. So income and expenses, these are important for the flow of money. And now assets and liabilities, what brings you this money? So assets is things you own that have value. Now assets in general term means something which puts money into your pocket. So for example, savings. So savings, let's say you have 1 lakh rupees saved and you put it in FD. You know what is FD? Fixed deposit. What does fixed mean? Why is it fixed? No, you can withdraw. Time period, fixed time period. Okay, so here is so that is why we are having this session. Fixed deposit does not mean that you cannot withdraw the money. The fixed deposit means the money is kept at a fixed interest rate. The interest rate is fixed. So whenever you put an FD, the question is not for how much period. That is all a thing to be considered. The thing is at what rate. So if it is at a rate of 7%, 8%, that means that whatever you have invested, you'll get 8% additional on that money. So the important part of fixed deposit is fixed. The fixed is not for the time period which is fixed, it is for the rate, interest rate, that is fixed. And so when you have FD, you can get an interest on it, and that interest is also added as an, so an FD is an asset because it gives money to you. Okay. Apart from that, let's say if you have a shop and you rent it out, so that rental income comes, so that shop is an asset for you. Why? Because it is generating income for you. Okay. So anything that generates income, for example, we have this office, so this office is an asset for me. Why? Because we work there and we generate revenue from it. So asset is or anything that generates revenue, and anything that has inherent value. We'll go detail into each one of the assets. Property is also an asset, and I'll tell you which kind of property is an asset, which kind of it is not an asset. Liabilities. Liabilities is anything that money you that takes money from you, or money that you owe. So for example, loans. What does a loan mean? You take a loan from a bank, right? And what do you have to do in exchange of the loan? You have to pay, not interest, EMIs. You have to pay monthly EMIs. What does monthly EMI means? Every month you have to give some amount to the bank back. So that is a liability on you. Every month you need to generate that amount to give it to the bank. Credit card debt. So credit card, you guys are using credit card? Not yet. Soon you'll be using it, and I'll tell you why you should use it. And the other thing is credit card debt. So debt means when you have credit cards but you're not paid the fee, the due amount. That is when the credit card company charges you additional amount. So that is what generates credit card debt. Okay, income versus expenses. So these are very basic, but types of income. What are the types of income that is possible? First is called active. Active is like the income that is generated by working for it. So this is like spending time to earn money. Where you go to a job, you come here for every day 10 to 6, and you work, and then you get an income, that is active. Passive is something that generates income even when you are not actively working on it. So for example, investments, as I said, fixed deposits, mutual funds, stock market, whatever. Rental income, as I give you an example, you have a shop, you have a small house which you are not using, and you rent it out to someone, that is going to generate a rental income. So that is called a passive income. Now there the one strategy to increase your financial status or financial stability is to increase the income streams. So how do you increase the income streams? One income stream is your active income, that cannot be more than one. You're not able to, you have 24 hours in your life, so the job that you work on is going to be mostly one, at max two, if somebody is working extra after they go from their main job. Some people, you work on two jobs, especially in foreign countries. You might have heard that I work two jobs, because one job is not sufficient to cover my expenses. So it is like increasing streams of income. So you can either increase your active streams of income or passive streams of income. The logical thing to do is to increase your passive streams of income, the money that you don't need to actively work for. Okay. So that is the second type of income. Then expenses. So expenses are fixed expenses. Fixed expenses means the yeah so why Zomato and Swiggy are not fixed variable income is, for 1 month, let's say you are getting more cravings or you want to eat more. 1 month there is a party amongst your friends. 1 month there is, I don't know, whatever. So whatever the occasion may be, so that is a variable expenses. It keeps on changing. And hobbies is, now again, hobbies is, there are various hobbies. I don't know what your hobbies are, but let's say, for example, I'll give you my example. I like to play badminton. So badminton is a sport which is not it is quite expensive, especially the shuttles and the gutting of the racket. Those are expensive. If I so whenever I'm playing, and if my gutting breaks off, it's an another 1,000 rupees expense for me. And if it happens every month, then it's a recurring expense for me. Even when my shuttlecocks get exhausted, I need to buy new shoes. So, or anything that goes into your hobbies, anything that goes into your personal things, those are also variable expenses. I don't know when my gutting is going to break. I don't know when I'm going to need my shuttlecock. So it is not fixed for each month. That is why we need to track your spending. Once we track your spending, then we can identify patterns. Okay, let's discuss assets versus liabilities. So assets is, there are two kinds of assets: appreciating and depreciating. Appreciating means the assets that keep on increasing value, stocks, property, right? So you have a house, the value of your house 20 years ago and value of your house right now is a vast difference. Why? Because that property is an appreciating asset. Let's say for example, now this is an example for rental properties, commercial properties. For example, this main road, right? That main road used to have very high expensive buildings and apartment, but then VMC decided to build a bridge over it, Atal Bridge. The prices of those properties fell down. Why? Because now the so these are appreciating assets generally, but there is no guarantee that they will always appreciate. But these depreciating assets, cars, electronics, these are 100% guaranteed to go down. Whenever you buy a new car, you know what the value of car is? Okay, you bought a new car right now, Ishida, right? What was the value of the car? 8 lakhs. So you spent 8 lakhs, you drove the car out of the showroom. Let's say for the next day you decide, no, this is not the car that I want. This is wrong color. This is wrong model. I want another model car. You drive back that car, same car to that same showroom. Tell him, what is the price of this car now? Please take it back from me. Just one day, I'm not even saying 1 year, one day, it will directly decrease by 10%, 20% minimum. That means you're the moment you drive it out of the showroom, the car is a depreciating asset. The electronics. How many of you are using a phone which is more than 2 years or 3 years old? You're not using a phone which is okay. How much old is it? 3 years, not more than 3 years. So what happens is every 2 years, 3 years, the iPhone guys are very smart. They bring out new phone every year. Why? Because they know that people are going to want new iPhones, new features, new addition. So electronics is a depreciating asset. Even if you when you use a good iPhone, every year the value of iPhone keeps on decreasing. The iPhone that you bought for 1.5 lakhs, the next year the value is 80,000. The next year the value is 50,000. So it keeps on dropping. So it is a depreciating asset. Liabilities, good liabilities means that you take a loan or you take a due from someone, but you're using it for good purposes. Student loan. Why student loan is a good liability? Because you're not using that money to buy stuff for yourself. You're not using that money to spend it on petty expenses. You're using that to study. And once you study and the jewelry and those kind of mortgages, we are talking about a house which is on mortgage. The reason why a house on mortgage can be a good liability is when you can use it for generating cash flow. So I'll explain how it goes. Let's say this commercial building and you buy a shop. Your shop is 30 lakhs. You don't have 30 lakhs, so you take a loan and you mortgage the shop itself. Okay, so whenever you take a loan, the property is mortgaged. Okay, I am taking a loan of 30 lakhs against this property itself. And what they'll do is, okay, now 30 lakhs, so it will give you let's say a monthly EMI of 30,000. We'll keep it simple, 30,000 monthly EMI. So you need to pay 30,000 each month to the bank. Now what happens is, it is a shop, let's say it's a ground floor shop, and you give it on rent to some other guy, and you are taking rent as 35,000 or 40,000. So what happens is, you each month you are getting 35,000 or 40,000 from the rental person, and you are giving 30,000 to the bank. So you are generating 5,000, 10,000 rupees cash flow against a property which is not yours yet. You are still paying it with the bank's money, but that is how it can be a good liability if you are investing it in this way and generating this expense. Okay, bad liabilities, credit card debt, whatever you are defaulting on, it is all bad liability, because once this starts off, it starts piling up. The credit card debt is like a very it's a vicious cycle. Once you start doing it, there is no stop to it. It becomes a habit to spend more than you earn. So we need to avoid that. The golden rule, of course, is not a golden, this is a common sense rule, that you should grow your assets and reduce your liabilities. Okay, the concept of net worth. So okay, for example, today I ask you, what is your net worth? What is your net worth, Nakul? How will you calculate your net worth? I mean, and okay, what is the purpose of knowing a net worth? You might have heard about this word net worth, right? Businessman, yeah, okay, my net worth is this much crores, this much billions dollars. Why is net worth necessary, and why do you want to learn about net worth, or why you should always be aware of your net worth? So why do we need to know about this is, whenever you're trying to buy a new thing or spend a new get a new thing, invest in anything, the first thing that you should be aware of, and the first thing that the bank or whoever is giving you money, or whoever is you are trying to purchase, they will gauge is how much is your net worth. Are you able to afford this? Are you able to repay this? So net worth is a simple formula, is assets minus liabilities equals net worth. But you should know what your assets are. You should know how much your income is, how much your expenses are. And if you are able to calculate this, your net worth, then you are able to tell them, okay, I am net worth this. This means that if I go and sell you in the market, this is how much I will get. We are not talking about trading people here, but if I able to trade you, then this is how much I'll get for you, right? Why is it important? It shows your financial health, and it helps in settling financial goals, setting financial goals. So you might have heard that Anil Ambani had declared that, okay, my net worth is zero now, because his liabilities were, as good as assets, or it were more than his assets. So his net worth was negative, and he had, whenever the net worth goes in negative, that is the moment that you need to declare bankruptcy. So have you heard of this word bankruptcy? What does that mean? That means that your liabilities have it has gone ahead than your assets. You're not able to fulfill your financial goals. Okay, now the why we are talking about all this. The first thing that you need to do is budget. What is a budget? So budget is a plan for managing your income and expenses. If you are not managing your money, so in there is a one fundamental golden rule. You should remember this always. You cannot manage what you cannot measure. You cannot manage what you cannot measure. If you cannot measure something, so if I tell you on top of your mind that, okay, what is your income, you should be able to give me a figure. Okay, this is my income. What are your expenses? If I ask you what is your expenses, what is your expenses, Ishita, this month? Do you have a number on top of your head? What? How can you be so sure it is just 5,000? Do you keep records? So is it including all Zomato orders, all shopping, all Mintra, Agio? Okay. So if you are keeping tabs of all your expenses, Amazon, Zomato, Swiggy, Agio, Mantra, whatever you're purchasing, whatever you are spending on, all the pani puris are also included there. So whatever you spend 10, 20 rupees on pani puris, that is also being. Why I'm telling you this is, once you have that number in your head, that okay, this is the precise number that I'm spending each month, then you are able to create a budget for yourself. So calculate your income, list your expenses, allocate money for savings. So what happens is, whenever you have income, what the human tendency is to, the basic tendency is to spend it all. Who has seen tomorrow? YOLO, you live once. So why do you need to, save it? Why do you need to invest it, right? There should be a good enough reason that why you should keep saving for tomorrow. What does tomorrow hold that you need to, save money for it? So we need to allocate money for savings and stick to your plan. Stick to your plan means what? There should be a fixed amount for expenses, fixed amount for each section, and you should stick to that plan. If you move from that plan, then your financial health is going to get affected. So this is a popular budgeting method: 50, 30, 20. 50% needs are something that you need to spend money on. There is no option, right? 30% are wants. This is Zomato, Swiggy, Pani Puri, new shoes, new clothes. These are all wants. These are not needs. Needs are something you cannot survive without, right? So this is maybe your rental. If your house is on rent, you need to pay rent for it. That may be a need. These are all wants that, and I want to buy a new shoes. I want to buy a new shirt, pant, whatever. So, and 20% is saving or debt. Debt means what? It's going either into your loan payment or it is going into your savings. So 20% is the bare minimum, that you should be doing the savings. So think about this. Whatever you are earning monthly, are you able to save 20% out of it? That is question number one. So whatever the 20% amount is for you, each one of you, you just ask yourself, are you able to save that? If you are able to save that, then we'll move to the next part, which is investing. That what to do with this 20%. The first problem is we don't have 20%. This is gone. 50% needs, 50% wants, zero. So we are not looking to, create this 20% savings. Right. So now if you have savings, let's say you are, you follow the plan and 50, 30, 20, and you start saving money. Okay, now what do you do with that money once you have saved it? It should not go again in the wants. It should stay in the savings and then go to the investment route. So what is it? Savings? So savings can be used for short-term goals or emergency fund. let's say something happens, suddenly there's a medical emergency, there is some family person's health is not good. So in all those cases you should have some emergency fund which you can directly use. Or let's say vacation, you are planning a vacation, that okay, I need to go to a vacation in this month, and before that I need to start saving for it a couple of months ahead, and you can use a savings account for easy access. Okay, investing, let's say you have money even after your short term goals are reached, then you need to go for investing. Investing is always long term, it is not short term. Investing itself means you are doing it for the compounding effect of money. We'll discuss about compounding in one of our subsequent sessions. But long term growth is stocks, mutual funds, bonds. We'll go each into each one of them. That is, what is the difference between all this and what to invest in. Let's say you have some money saved up, where will you invest it in one of this? Okay. And compounding, compounding means earning interest on interest. Have you heard of this term, compounding? Compound interest, there was this term in the school, simple interest and compound interest. Okay, so what is the formula, क्या formula है उसका? Okay, so इसका फॉर्मूला ये है. ओके, सिंपल इंटरेस्ट का क्या है? या एनपीआर डिवाइडेड बाय. ओके, व्हाट इज एन, व्हाट इज पी? सिंपल इंटरेस्ट, पीआर एन अपॉन 100. व्हाट अबाउट कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट? So I'll tell you what happens is, so this, you know the concept, right? If I have saved 100 rupees, what is and the rate of interest is 10%. So the first year I'll get is 110. Okay, 10%. The next year I'll get how much?
110 plus 10%.
Yes, so it will be 110 will turn into 121 because the 10% of 110 is 11. So I have to add 11 in this. Similar for this. So it will keep on compounding. So the effect of compounding is such that your investment grow at long age. If you are not withdrawing it and you are keeping the amount invested in the market. So if the market grows at, let's say the Indian stock market usually grows at 12%, or it has already given 10% over a long term. So if you do 12%, you are easily able to compound your money at 12% if you put it in the stock market. Starting early is the main thing. So this is the reason why we are having this session. Starting early. The reason why I'm telling you this is, if you start right now, you are all 22 years, right? 20. If you start right now, if you invest for 20 years until you reach 40, that is the moment that you don't need to invest anymore. If you can invest for 20 years, 40 is the age you can easily retire. That is what I'm saying. You can easily retire at 40. You don't need to wait till 60 or 65, and you can be easily financially independent. What is financially independent mean? You don't need anything. You don't need to do anything to earn money. That is what financial independence means. Means you don't need to wake up in the morning, dress up in chilly winters, drive to work, and then work there for 8 hours, come back home. All those drudgery is gone once you achieve financial independence. That means your money itself is making so much money that you don't need to work actively for it. That is the final goal that each one of you should have. How can I achieve financial independence? And that means that if you don't work, even if you don't work from the age 40 till you die, that amount itself is so big that it keeps on sustaining you. Your monthly expenses are all covered using that. Okay, so this is the strategy of saving and investing. Debt management, I don't know if you guys are doing that. Do you have student loans? You have student loan. You have student loan. Okay, so student loans are a good liability, good debt, because we are able to you are getting some education using those loan, and you'll be able to earn much higher once you complete the education. So student loan mortgages are good, and high interest credit cards, and those are bad. So what we do is, if you want to manage your debt, because if you don't manage your debt, that itself, the vicious cycle of debt, it is going to exhaust your savings. So to do that, what we do is, we are for managing the debt, we pay more than the minimum. Pay more than the minimum is, let's say your EMI is 10,000, you pay 12,000 one month. If you have money, then you can keep on increasing your EMI payments just to complete the loan faster, so that you don't have to pay higher interest rates. Okay, avoid unnecessary borrowing. So if it is possible to do it without loan, that is the approach that you should go for. and consolidate loans if required. That means if you're having 2-3 loans, this is not in your case, but if you're having 2-3 loans, it is better to consolidate them all, so that way you know that okay, what is the monthly amount I need to pay for each one. Okay. Building credit. Now I asked you that are you using credit card, you said no. So here is my suggestion. The moment you have your own bank and you have a little bit of savings, you should own a credit card. Why? To build a credit score. What is a credit score? Have you heard of credit score? What is a credit score?
It's like some kind of points you get, and then you can use that as a discount.
No, you are confusing credit score with cred app. Cred app is, it's built on the same idea, but it's not the same thing. Credit score, or you might have heard of this rating, CIBIL. Have you heard of CIBIL? CIBIL score, have you heard of this? CIBIL. CIBIL score is a score that is given by this agency called CIBIL. It shows your score, that how credit worthy are you, how much credit can I give you, so that the bank can trust you that okay, what is your CIBIL score. If it is in, there are ranges for it. If it is above 700, you are having a good credit score. If it is less than 700, 200, 300. And how is that credit score maintained? That is maintained by if you pay your bills on time, if you pay your EMIs on time. So doing that increases your credit score. So the reason to, if you want to build credit, the only way to do is to borrow and then pay it on time. How will I know that you are credit worthy? For example, some friend asks for money. How will I know that will he return or not? So one time I give him money, and if he returns, and then if next time he asks me, then okay, he has given it to me one time back, so I'll lend him again. Same with banks. The same banks wants to trust you, but they want to know that have you paid your preferred. So doing credit card is like, okay, I am using credit card, I am having a monthly bill, and I'm paying that on time. That will increase your CIBIL score. And doing increasing that CIBIL score will help you get more bigger loans. That okay, you have paid this small loans, we trust that you will pay the bigger loan as well. Here is the money. So big industry enterprise, they want to have good CIBIL score, so they use credit cards. What does the cred app do? Cred app is built entirely around this. I see people every day on internet saying I don't understand what cred does, it creates funny ads. What is the point of cred app? Nobody uses it. What they do is they give you incentives or points for paying the bill on time. Okay, you want to pay bill, you're paying bill on time, okay, here are credit points, you use this for purchasing that. You pay your bills monthly on time each every month, and it increases your CIBIL score. And what they do is they partner with banks, that okay, forget your CIBIL score, forget everything, we'll tell you which individuals are credit worthy. So they are kind of taking over the work of CIBIL in a way, but and they are incentivizing it. Okay, you pay your credit bills on time, you do all those things. Okay, so that is a usage of this credit app. So whenever somebody asks you what is credit app used for, or why are you using it, and this is the answer that you give them. And you can check your credit report, so it is there to do it online. I think it is some number of times it is free, and then it asks for money. I'm not sure, but some websites they show your credit score. You just have your enter your PAN number. Everybody has your PAN number. You have your PAN number. That is very important, because all your financial health is tracked in that number. I enter that number in income tax, it will show me your income tax reports. I enter that PAN number in this CIBIL score, it will show me a CIBIL score. Everything that you do in bank, whatever deposits you've made above 50,000, it is compulsory to add your PAN number in it. So PAN number is very important, and that is kind of a way to keep track of your thing. Emergency fund, of course we talked about this, that if you have to keep some amount of money which is not touchable, so you are not able to touch that money. It is like for an emergency fund, if something happens you need to use that. This helps from before, it prevents us from going into debt if we have an emergency fund. So how much is an emergency fund? 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. So what is 3 to 6 months? So you'll not know this number until you are tracking your expenses. So first step is to track your expenses, as Ishita is doing. Write down all your expenses. How much pani puris, how much Zomatos, how much Swiggies. What is your monthly list? You make that list, you add that number, and the number comes up. So you know that this is the number I will need each month. And you multiply that by 3 to 6 months, and that is a fund that you should have in. Why? Because this is a volatile market. Let's say today you have a job, but tomorrow the market goes into recession. There has been such cases, right? That the market suddenly goes into recession, there are no jobs, there is a lot of bloodbath in the market. So if you don't have those fund, and if you go out of a job or you go out of a work next month, then what will you do? So the 3 to 6 months of expenses you should have it covered in an emergency fund, and this should be kept as an FD. So that way you are easily able to get it. નથી આવ્યું, મૂકી દે. લાઈ મૂકી દે, મારું ચાલે છે સેશન. મૂકી રાખ ને અત્યારે, વાંધો નથી પાછું. ચાલ. Okay, yeah. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so financial goals. Why do we need to do financial goals? There are short term goals, medium term goals, long term goals, and SMART. SMART is an acronym here. Short term is, okay, you want to buy the new iPhone. iPhone is how much does it cost? iPhone 16 Pro Max. 1,30,000. सो 1,30,000 का आता है. तो वो अगर आईफोन लेना है तो 1,30,000 इकट्ठा करने, सैलरी है 15,000. तो कैसे होगा 1,30,000 का? और ये तो उस मतलब दिस इज लाइक इफ यू वांट टू बाय इट एट योर ओन मनी. अभी चाचा मामा दे रहे हैं, कोई पापा मम्मी दे रहे हैं, तो देन इट इज फाइन, देन देर इज नो नीड फॉर फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग. इफ यू वांट टू लाइक नहीं भाई खुद लेगा, तो देन यू नीड प्लानिंग. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज यू आर सेविंग फॉर अ गैजेट और अ ट्रिप. Let's say I do this. I'll tell you about myself. So I always take at least one foreign trip every year. For that I know that how much money I'm willing to spend. So that is the amount of money that I always keep aside. I don't invest it anywhere. I don't, because I know that whenever I go on a trip, this is the amount of money that will go away. So that is a short term goal, which is in a year, 6 months, like that. Medium term goals, okay, buying a car or paying off debt. So buying a car is like it's not an expense that you can do every month or every month. You need to plan for it. Okay, this year we'll buy a car, or next year we'll buy a car. So next year buy a car means you're planning and saving it for the next year. So those are medium term goals. And the long term goals is like you want to do it for retirement, after you want to buy a house. So those are very big expenses. So the bigger the expense, the bigger the goals. And based on these goals, you need to have a financial planning. Okay, so this is my question to you, Nakul. Which car do you want to drive? Porsche. Okay. Which car do you want to drive? Defender. What about you? Okay. So you know the price of Range Rover, right? Price of Defender. You know the price of Porsche. So that should be your long-term goal, that or a mid-term goal, that okay, this is the price of the car. Let's keep a hypothetical price, 45 lakh, 50 lakhs. So you know the 50 lakhs is the price of the car. And there is no point in driving a car when I'm 50 years old. I want to drive the car when I'm young, sufficiently young. So okay, let's say you are starting at 22. You say okay, 32 is a good age. 10 years I should have 50 lakhs. So 10 years, 50 lakhs, and divide by 10, so 5 lakhs each year. So I need to earn 5 lakhs each year, and I need to put aside 5 lakhs each year to get to that goal. So at the end of 10 years I should get 5 lakhs. I should have 50 lakhs. So for that, how much should I invest right now, or how much should I plan right now, so that in 10 years I am able to reach that goal? So you have to go in that way. Okay, and the Defender price is today it is 50 lakhs. In 10 years it might not be 50 lakhs. Why it cannot be 50 lakhs? There is something called inflation. So what is inflation? The price of the asset or any liability, it keeps on jacking up due to market scenarios and everything. So you need to factor in inflation as well. That's 6% inflation. So the price today is this. If inflation stays at 6%, then this is the price in 10 years. For that I have to earn this much. Okay, that is a medium term goal. Only if you do this, you are able to buy a Porsche or a Defender. Because unless you have that goal in mind, that okay, I need this much money just to spend it on this car, just to spend it on this house, then you need to reverse that amount into investment strategies. Or buy a big house. Let's say if you have a dream that I need to buy a house on beachfront, I want to buy a house in Alibag, with my own jetty, my own whatever, own private lake. It is good to have dreams. Unless you have dreams, you're not going to push yourself to do great things. Nobody said Creta, nobody said Swift. You wanted Porsche, Defender. The reason is like because the human mind wants big things, but then it is up to us to follow through the dream, right? Okay, so apart from that, there is SMART. So if you have any specific, so SMART is an acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Unless your goal has these 5 strategies, it is not a realistic goal. So you're okay, achievable. So this you need to ask yourself: is the 50 lakh goal achievable? Yes, it is achievable. It is nothing is not achievable. Everything is achievable in life if you are willing to go for it. Specific, yes, you know the model. Porsche is the model. Very specific, and even in that, which color, which how much cc engine, which variant, it should be very specific. Measurable, of course, you want it in 5 years, 10 years, right? Achievable, yes. Relevant, yes. Why not relevant? And time bound, 10 years, 5 years. So you should have this, things mentioned, or you should have these things figured out whenever you are setting any financial goal. Okay. Now this is like the okay. Now you know some basics about finance. You know what is asset liability. If you want to read more about it, that okay, if I want to increase my income streams, if I want to decrease my liabilities, what is the way to do it? So these are some books and websites and podcasts that will help you. Mint is an app, and any reason you need a budget, so that is a budgeting app. You can use whichever you feel easy to log your expenses and income. You can use this kind of applications on your phones. Books: Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It explains these concepts as well: income, liability, expense, assets, and expenses. Then the Total Money Makeover, that's another book which you use. And this 7 Steps to Financial Freedom, this is a book by Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins has written this book. This book goes into very detail. Okay, stock market and what stocks you should buy, what kind of stocks you should buy, how you should pick up stocks, all those kind of things they go into 7 Steps to Financial Freedom. Okay, websites: Investopedia, whatever finance you want to learn about it, it can be shown. Nerd Wallet, there's another website called Nerd Wallet. You can do that as well. The Dave Ramsey Show. If you're not a good reader and if you want to listen to podcasts, there are podcasts of Dave Ramsey. He gives advice. He is mostly giving advice on, he's in US market, so not very relevant for India, but you can still listen to him. Financial Diet and the 1% Club. You know about 1% Club? That's Sharan, Finance by Sharan. So he has pretty good advice. So there are many financial influencers. You should always take them with a pinch of salt, because each influencing is such a profession that people can do shady things under the garb of the. Some of them were selling shit coins on during this crypto boom. So be wary of that. You should kind of do your own research, understand the asset, and then do it. Okay. I think that completes our last point, and what we'll do is, okay, any questions on this? I think there was a last one. I'll just check. Mhm. Oh, it's called it's called back to top. I think it is not. Yeah. Okay, so Q&A. Okay, any questions regarding the session? Any questions regarding the assets, liabilities? Rashida? No question? Okay. Now, so what if they don't have any questions, then I'm going to give you tasks. For the next session that we do, I need all these details: income, expenses, assets, liabilities. Just make this notes of all these 4 things. Okay, what are my assets, what are my liabilities, what is my income, what is my expense. Just to have that number in your head, that okay, you should be under you should keep tabs on your own financial situation. Do you have your own bank accounts, individual bank accounts? No sharing with mother, father? Okay, then it's best, because in your bank account statement, if you take out a printout of it, or if you do it in your app, you'll be able to see all these red and green entries. Based on that, you'll be able to figure out, right? It is always good to have your own bank account, own credit card, and own debit card. You have your own debit card? Okay, good. We'll do that. Any questions from you guys? No? Okay, I think that concludes today's session. Thanks for listening to it very attentively, and for the audience who are joining us through YouTube. So this was the first attempt that we did, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. And subsequently, each Friday at 5:30 p.m., we're going to have this live session. Thanks for joining. Until next time.